It's December 2021. A man, his 3 young children, vanish without a trace. A quiet family, seemingly out of nowhere, torn apart, only to reappear 3 years later. But this isn't a simple case of missing persons. It's a story that goes much deeper than that. The disappearance of Tom Phillips and his children wasn't just a mystery. It was the beginning of a chilling sequence of events that would leave investigators and the public haunted for years. What happened to them? Where were they hiding? And most disturbingly, why? As we dig into the strange and twisted story, you might start to question what you thought you knew about family bonds, survival, and the lengths people will go to in order to escape their past. Stay tuned. This is a journey you won't want to miss. The story of Tom Phillips. Let's begin at the beginning. In December 2021, 34-year-old Tom Phillips, a father of 3, had every reason to be living a normal life. His children, aged between 3 and 11, were his world. Friends described him as a loving dad, a man who wanted nothing more than a simple life with his kids. But in the early morning hours of December 1st, Tom, along with his children, Lily, Max, and Noah, disappeared. No signs of forced entry, no ransom demands, no trail. The last anyone heard from him was a brief text sent to his mother. "I'm taking the kids away for a while." But a while turned into 3 years. What happened in those first hours, those first days? The police were scrambling to figure out if he was simply a father looking to start anew, or if something darker was at play. It wasn't long before the investigation turned into something more ominous. Was it a desperate attempt to escape a troubled life? Or something far more sinister? The days turned into weeks, the weeks into months. As the search for Tom Phillips intensified, new theories began to emerge. Was he on the run, hiding from authorities for some unknown crime? Had he been in a fight with his partner? Was there more to the story than met the eye? Families across New Zealand began to ask, was this just a case of a father wanting to protect his children? Or was there something more sinister at play? The public's imagination ran wild. Rumors spread. Some believed Tom was hiding in plain sight. Others thought perhaps he'd met with foul play. Authorities followed leads, but each one seemed to dry up. And then there was nothing. For 3 years, Tom Phillips and his children were forgotten. Or were they? It wasn't until October 2024, almost 3 years after they first vanished, that an unexpected tip would break the case wide open. A hiker, deep in the New Zealand wilderness, stumbled across a campsite. At first, it seemed like a normal, quiet spot, until he spotted the unthinkable. The police were contacted immediately. This wasn't just any campsite. This was their campsite. But Tom Phillips wasn't some fugitive hiding out in the woods. No, this was something entirely different. What they discovered in that remote corner of the world would make their jaws drop. Tom, his children, and what looked like a life set up to survive in isolation. But why? Why had they been hiding for so long? What was the real story behind their disappearance? Tom and his children were found alive, healthy, and remarkably calm, considering everything they'd been through. They weren't in any immediate danger, but their disappearance raised even more questions than answers. Tom Phillips was arrested, but only after a series of interviews that revealed a complicated web of lies, secrets, and a father doing everything he could to protect his children, no matter the cost. In interviews, Tom described how, in his mind, he was doing the right thing, saving his children from a broken system. He spoke about years of struggles with family courts, battling over custody, and what he believed was a system that failed his family at every turn. It wasn't about escape for the sake of running. It was about protection, protecting his children from what he felt were dangers that no one else could see. But the question remains, did Tom go too far? Was his decision to disappear a final act of love? Or was it a misguided, dangerous choice? The investigation revealed much more about Tom's relationship with his children's mother, the custody battles, and the secret life Tom had tried to build in the wilderness. In a way, it was almost a tragic love story, a father's attempt to shield his kids from a world he felt was against them. But was it worth it? Was this really about love? Or did Tom's fear and desperation lead him down a darker path? By October 2024, Tom and his were safe, but the questions remain. The legal system will eventually determine his fate. Will he face charges? Will he ever be able to rebuild the relationships that were fractured by his disappearance? And as for his children, what happens to them after all of this? In the end, the story of Tom Phillips isn't just about a man who went missing. It's about a father's love pushed to the extreme. It's about the lengths one might go to protect those they love, even when it seems like everything else is crumbling. This case raises uncomfortable questions. How far should someone go to protect their children? And when does love tip into obsession? Sometimes, the truth isn't as simple as it seems. It's layered with motives, fears, and sacrifices, making the story of Tom Phillips one that will haunt the memories of those who were part of it for years to come. The story of Tom Phillips and his children is far from over. But for now, we're left to wonder, what would we have done in his shoes?